Let's talk about the basic foundation of documentation. This is a three-part question. Is there a guideline or a rule that indicates you should only use medical record documentation for that specific visit or admission for diagnosis coding purposes? Does each visit or admission stand alone? And would the coder go back to a previous encounter records to assist in the coding of a current visit or admission? And the answer is, this is really a preface to the answer. It's a very long answer. Documentation for the current encounter should clearly reflect those diagnoses that are current and relevant. Conditions documented on previous encounters may not be clinically relevant, and therefore you probably shouldn't be using them on the current encounter. A discussion that the physician is responsible for diagnosing all relevant issues. A patient's historical problem list is not necessarily the same for every encounter, and that's a statement that really leads us to think about the problems we face with physicians cutting and pasting from previous notes. The comment that it's the physician's responsibility to determine the diagnoses and applicable for the current encounters when reporting recurring conditions. For the outpatient encounter or inpatient admission, the recurring conditions should be documented each time, meaning no, you really can't go back to the previous encounters. However, if the condition is not documented in the current health record, it would be inappropriate to go back to previous encounters to retrieve a diagnosis without the physician confirmation. They then add the next bit of advice, where this is an area where coders and department managers can do some extensive education to healthcare providers in the context of helping them document chronic or long-standing conditions. Again, the use of problem lists. A very important aspect is please note that this advice applies to both ICD-9 and ICD-10. This is addressing the basic foundation of documentation, really pointing out that the information and the process that we use for gathering information for coding is not changing from ICD-9 into the ICD-10 process, okay? So there we have that one, kind of to start out talking about the foundations of documentation and where it's okay to get documentation from and where it isn't.